Anthony Capozzolo is a former federal prosecutor and former assistant attorney for the Eastern District of New York. He's in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Thank you, Anthony. I suppose lots of questions here, but first one I have is, what are the next steps here when it comes to sentencing?
So the judge did set a schedule for sentencing for both parties to present sentencing memorandum, and that should happen in a few weeks. And then there's a sentencing date, I believe it's in July, and it's possible there could be delays. Trump has been known to try to utilize the legal system to delay things, but it's very likely that a sentencing will occur before the election, I would expect. And that would be the next step in the process. And then after that, Trump can apply, if the judge were to impose a jail sentence, which is a possibility, Trump is very likely to get bail pending appeal, given the kind of unique nature of the case and and Mr. Trump's standing as a former president. I think it's likely the appellate court would give him bail pending appeal. So my prediction would be very unlikely he would be incarcerated prior to the election.
Well, but how realistic is it that he'd be incarcerated at all? And you know, if not, what does the precedent suggest for sentencing?
So these are not the highest level felonies you can be convicted of in New York State. And there is often a presumption toward a non-incarceratory sentence in such cases. The defendant, Mr. Trump, has engaged in a lot of conduct during the course of the trial and before the trial that the judge could look at. The contempt violations that Judge Merchan has examined already, and some remain for him to make final findings on. Those could play a factor in whether the judge decides that Mr. Trump has exhibited a lack of remorse and may have even engaged in some conduct which the judge deems obstructionist, in terms of making comments about witnesses that he thinks could have discouraged witnesses from testifying. Those are aggravating factors that it often lead a judge to believe some jail time is appropriate, even in so-called white-collar offenses like the ones Mr. Trump was convicted of. And many defendants in New York have gone to jail on charges like these in certain circumstances.
I just have about 15 seconds left. Very quickly, as a convicted felon, can he vote?
In Florida, ironically, Democrats got a measure passed in Florida that restored voting rights to most felons. So unless you're convicted of a crime of moral turpitude, like murder or sexual assault, he will remain able to vote in Florida in all elections.
All right, Anthony.
Because he's now a Florida resident.
Okay, Anthony, thanks very much for your insights. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.